Welcome to another episode of Bourbon, Beer, and Books. We have Sean dialing in from the West Coast, and then in the studio with us, we have Case and Dory. We have a fantastic, I guess, book that held up until like a week ago, and so
right.
Wasn't even a week ago.
Then the shit hit the fan.
Yeah. Yeah, y'all have some timing, I tell you. So we're gonna get into what we're drinking, but Sean, just tell us what the book is first.
Okay, so we are reading Dave Grohl's Storyteller. The expanded version came out in 2021. It was a New York Times bestseller for a couple weeks, and it's an amazing story about how Dave Grohl came up from nothing, single mom, just one heck of a nice guy the whole time, and then got married and had kids, and he was a family man and just a heart of gold. The whole time I'm reading it, I'm like, so glad there's people like Dave Grohl out there. and then it ends.
So, is there going to be like another version coming out soon?
It's going to be going to be redacted.
Yeah. Well, we'll talk about that, but
we're going to redact it.
We will talk. We can talk craft and all that too.
Yeah.
Right.
So, but Case, did you change your liquor of choice within the last week?
You act like I'm ever prepared for this.
Wrong person. Sean.
Yes.
Okay.
I did. So I had this like van session beer that I found. I know it'd be cool.
Yeah.
Sessions.
Yeah.
It was made out here in Oregon, but you know what? He didn't deserve that anymore. So I bought.
Wow.
This is Mirage. It's because he's a Mirage. You think he's a good guy, but
wow.
Snap.
Good.
Did anybody else go on Reddit afterwards?
No. What did you find out? Well, okay, so
about the book, yeah.
I guess we haven't really said it, but what happened was, as we're finishing,
like 3 days ago,
the day I finished the book, that article came out, or no, his Instagram post came out saying that he's having a baby, a daughter outside of his marriage, and we're like, oh man! But then as soon as that came out, all these journalists did all these stories about how he's cheated on every girlfriend he's ever had. Like, oh.
Yeah.
This isn't his first cheating rodeo.
No.
So that part didn't make the book then?
No.
That was strangely left out of the book.
It's an epilogue that his editor cut.
Okay.
Yeah.
He's like, the epilogue started with, well, I nail everybody.
Well, Case, you said in past episodes that the good memoir is you show your flaws up front. Was this done appropriately?
Well, here's the thing. Let's talk about the memoir. Why we loved it until Thursday. Because we were like, man, this guy's the best. And I've read it before. This is the second time I read it. And
especially after reading J.D. Vance's memoir.
Oh, yeah. It was such a refreshing.
It was great. Well, honestly, Grohl was so humble. He made fun of himself all the way through. He was really self-deprecating.
So upbeat. It was so upbeat.
Yeah, and he was always so appreciative of the life that he'd been given. He was just like every corner he'd say, "How did I end up here? How did I end up with Tom Petty? How did I end up with Nirvana? How the hell did I end up with?"
Before that, he played drums for Iggy Pop. Stumbled into it somehow before he was even famous. I was like,
He was amazing. So humble, He was so humble.
And he's scared too. He's scared. He has like a lot of stage fright, but he always jumps into things. He'll just do it because it's like life. I want to enjoy it,
Yeah.
Very upbeat too. I love the whole all of it.
And his love for his mom was just, he couldn't say a word about his mom that wasn't just wonderful. And he even forgave his asshole of a dad.
Yeah.
And he easily forgave his dad. He was just like, oh, my dad said that was cool. And I was like, all right, you're forgiven. That's pretty
something that I wanted to talk about is like, he didn't mention his father. He did talk about how his mom was a single mom who raised him and his sister, and they're barely squeaking by, but he didn't even talk about his father until like part 2 of the book.
Mm-hmm.
And we find out that he was kind of a Republican speechwriter in DC, and he was a journalist, and he's so conservative that he disowned Dave Grohl. I'm like, that you disowned your own kid, man. That's crazy.
And he could have really gone after him, but he held back. That takes a lot of it takes a lot of guts to not go after your dad that way.
Right.
Yeah, and I do like that throughout the book that, it's more like, well, if you don't have anything nice to say, don't say it. Yeah. But then you end up skipping. I had no idea he was married before, even reading through the book. Maybe he might have mentioned it. But...
No, it was one sentence. And he threw it in like, wait, what did you just say?
Yeah.
It's like the end of my first marriage. Like, what? You were married?
And he was cheating. We find out later.
Yeah, we found out why.
Yeah. Don't go on Reddit if you love Grohl. Just don't do it. I
know. I did go down a rabbit hole. It wasn't the Reddit rabbit hole.
Yeah.
But...
Do they claim like, hey, I know Grohl, and then they post, or like, is it just kind of shit posters?
It's people who are like, well, I've been following his career a long time. If you actually dig in a little bit, you'll see that this is really common and stuff like that. Yeah.
They're telling me he's a rock star.
Yeah, he's a rock star.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, yeah. Before we get into that.
Yeah, let's talk about the book.
Let's talk about the book. What were some of your favorite parts of the book? What from some of his stories? Like what story maybe stands out?
The Iggy Pop.
That was cool.
Yeah.
The Iggy Pop one was great. My favorite part of this whole book was he realized that he's not going to do well in school, and even if he finishes school, he's not going to have a job that he wants, and he wants to really chase his dreams. So at 18 years old, he tells his mom he's not going to finish school. He's going to go on tour with a rock band, and all the members are 10 years older than he is, a band that he was in called Scream. And she gives him her blessing. And that. And then, in the book itself, as he's touring, they have pictures of all of the, not all of them, but a lot of the postcards that he sent to his mom while he was on tour. And it's just cool, man. I like the little photos and stuff in here and the pictures that he sent back. So it really gave it like a very personal touch to it that I liked.
His mom wrote a book, From the Cradle to the Grave.
Oh, she did?
And she goes and interviews other musicians' mothers.
Oh, really?
Uh-huh.
Cradle to Stage.
Cradle to Stage. So
really?
Cradle to the Grave.
I want to read that.
To the stage.
That sounds awesome.
And they did a show about it too. And they have different episodes for different musicians. And it's very interesting.
Yeah, that sounds fantastic.
That sounds so cool. Yeah. Yeah, his mom was amazing. He, Dory and I were chit-chatting and outside. But okay, we'll get there in a bit.
You can go there now. No.
Listen, let me tell you about a story I had forgot about when I first read it.
Yeah.
I was like, oh yeah, we should have known. The trek to Pantera's strip club. When him and Taylor, when you party with Pantera, you party with Pantera.
Yeah.
You don't go halvesies.
You don't go halvesies. It is full throttle.
Okay.
So they were so excited because they were making that trek across the US, and they're like, well, it's not on the way, but we're going to make it on the way to go to Texas, to go to Dimebag Darrell, and I can't remember his brother's name, Vinnie Paul, his their strip club, their famous strip club. And then I didn't want to have spoilers, but who cares?
Yeah, no.
Yeah, okay.
All the spoilers.
All the spoilers.
Yeah, yeah.
Well, Dave Grohl loses his driver's license along the way at a gas station in Barstow, I believe. And so they won't let him into
Barstow's
the bar.
The worst place on earth. I'm just throwing
right. It's like a void, like a black hole. And maybe that's why he lost his driver's license there.
It scares. That place scares the hell out of me.
Yeah. I think the crime rate's so high and it's really horrible.
We looked it up. We were driving through last summer and we looked it up. What is Barstow famous for? And it's literally said
murder.
It is where they drop off any illegal immigrants coming across the border. They drop them off in Barstow, not any of them, but a lot of them drop them off in Barstow, and then they hook up rides to go other places. And that's like but that's what it said in the.
That's what they're famous.
That's
for.
what it said in the that's what the Wiki said that, not like a random blog or anything. That was
not
like
on Reddit.
Not Reddit.
Not Reddit. Yeah, whatever wiki it was, but yeah.
Well,
Weird. Anyway,
I guess the second thing it's known for is Dave Grohl losing his driver's license.
That's pretty awesome. Yeah.
But yeah, they made it to the bar, Pantera's bar, and they wouldn't let him in. And that's one of my favorite stories. Just knowing, because I follow a lot of metal bands and read their capers, and everyone always says Pantera.
Yeah.
They go hard. And I'm going to attest. I go to a lot of shows, and the craziest fans I've ever encountered are Pantera fans. The rowdiest crowd. And I've seen Slayer and Biohazard and all these crazy guys, and nothing like a Pantera show. So, and he talks about, they're going to play Ozfest, and they're playing, I can't remember if they're playing before Pantera or after, and they're so nervous because they're like these kind of poppy guys. They're not hard. Foo Fighters definitely not hard music. And they were really worried about it. And then the whole crowd loved it.
Huh.
I really like that chapter. It's
my
favorite.
Yeah.
That's a good one. Yeah. I like where he broke his leg and he kept playing.
Oh, yeah.
That's a good one too. Yeah.
He really wanted his fans to get their money's worth, and he didn't want them to be all pissed off. So
I went and found that on YouTube to watch it.
Yeah.
It was pretty cool. Yeah, rolling around.
I tried to find, so he was really nervous about playing the Oscars, the Academy Awards show, and I tried to find that, but they didn't have it out. They had some photos, but I saw him. He did play Blackbird one of his concerts. It's just really weird how he's such good friends with Paul McCartney, and he name drops all the time, but he knows he's doing it, and it's really.
He almost makes fun of himself for doing it.
Right. And once again, he says,
I want to hang out with the guy. I want to hang out with the Dave Grohl who wrote this book, not the great Dave Grohl having kids with other people, outside of his marriage.
I think that's the thing is with Dave Grohl, I want to party with Dave Grohl.
Yeah.
I don't want to be married to Dave Grohl.
Right, exactly.
But I want to go to Pantera strip club.
Right.
I want to do all these crazy ass things, and I want to be married to him.
Yeah.
He reminds me of that little ADHD boy in school who's bouncing off the walls, but just so hilarious and always making you laugh. And that's what he is all through this book. He's got these great tales, and he just reminds me of that little wild boy in class that you grew up with.
Yeah. Case sent me the hot ones with Dave Grohl.
Oh, that's the best one ever. Awesome. It's the best. You can never. Every other hot ones pales in comparison to the Dave Grohl.
Oh
one.
yeah,
it's
agreed.
So funny.
Agreed.
And I love him.
Alcohol. He's like,
yeah. That was like in the middle of COVID, and he's like, "Let's just have a little bit." And he's like walking across the two big tables because they're supposed to be separated, and he's like, "I'm just gonna come over there. Are you okay with that?"
Yeah,
like, it's hilarious.
It is,
and he's fun.
Yeah,
and he's
And one of the things that I love about him is, yes, he's so much fun, but he's seen so much death in his life. His best friend Jimmy died, Kurt died, Taylor died. And his dad finally died, and just that so much. But he still sees the best side of life. Maybe he tries to live a little bit too hard or too well, but having cheating on his wife, but I don't know.
I mean,
they always say you got to try to separate the art from the artist, but with this book, you can't really do that because he's talking about his family the whole time. And
that's the hard part. I mean, that's the hard part. Is the book really? Maybe if he had a chapter about cheating. No, I mean, I'm being serious about it. Just was like, I kind of have a problem cheating. I would. I don't think
I think so. But I want to say, because I've read a lot of biographies from musicians, and they'll talk about those wild times. Maybe he was doing it because his wife said, "No fucking way.
Yeah,
you're not putting that in the book."
Oh yeah,
maybe you're not giving that to our family. I don't know.
Oh, right.
He kind of cleaned up some of his
transgressions
in this book. He didn't go all the way like some biographies do.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah. And that's, and as a memoirist too, it's like he chose his narrative.
Right.
He chose his narrative, and that's what you're supposed to do. You choose the person you want to put on the page. And I think that's why we're struggling with this. Like if he had a chapter that's like, I'm not great at being faithful, we'd be like, yeah, he's not, but he's trying.
Yeah.
Or he's a great husband to this wife, and he's a great dad. I don't doubt he's a great dad. That's one thing. I think he's an amazing dad. That doesn't change any of this, I don't think. Well, that's hard because what you put your kids through is from decisions like this is really big.
Damn it, Dave.
I know, damn it, Dave. We're just gonna call him damn it, Dave from now.
Damn
on.
it, Dave Grohl.
I know. You know, the narrative he put on the page, and I think that's why we're struggling. Is because the narrative put on the page is
like J.D. Vance all over again, telling us he's a hillbilly from Kentucky, where he lives in Ohio. Dave is telling us that he's the unicorn. He's the hard rock that's also
a good guy of rock.
Yeah, and I still part of me in something inside of me feels like he could still be, you know, like, you know what I mean? Like, it's like,
well, it's not like
stars, you know,
14-year-old and then talk her mom into giving him custody,
exactly, like Mick Jagger. Oh, you know, Aerosmith, yeah. Steven Tyler, like, took custody of a child. Just
I know,
disgusting stuff. You know, that's what I'm saying. Like,
same thing, you know. So
for a rock star, maybe he is the good guy still. I don't.
I mean,
if we're looking at a spectrum, you know, it
comes with the territory. I'm not saying it's okay,
right,
at all, and that he gets a pass because he's a rock star.
But if the spectrum's there,
we've seen it all our lives with these stories that come out.
Yeah,
and it's like, oh,
and
I'd never marry a rock star ever.
Yeah, that's just there's Dave Grohl, the bro, essentially, who you rock star with and party with, like you said, and then but it would not be fun to be married to.
No, not at all.
No, I don't think anybody at that level of success.
There's travel and success.
Yeah.
There's a lot of,
you know, she should have known better. She worked for MTV.
Yeah.
You know, and I mean, if it's on a spectrum, and the way that he handled it too, he was just like, I'm gonna come out and say this before everybody else does, and then bam, you know. I mean,
I know.
And
we're not giving him a pass because he did that, but still at the same time,
right? He's
like, hey, guys,
he's not Bill Cosby.
I did this,
Oh God.
You know, he's not Michael Jackson.
It wasn't a criminal act.
No, it wasn't.
It was not a criminal act. I mean, I know regular ugly ass everyday dudes that do this.
Yeah.
So
yeah, exactly.
Regular everyday ugly ass dudes
that are cheating on their wives.
Those guys didn't write a book about how cool they are and how much
because they're not, but this guy kind of is cool in that spectrum.
Yeah.
Let me tell you, when I first fell in love with Dave Grohl, because I'm not a huge fan of the music. There's a couple songs that are all right. It just doesn't resonate with me.
It's almost poppy.
Yeah.
It's almost too poppy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I saw a documentary, I think it came out like 2010 or 9, I don't know, about Lemmy from Motorhead.
Yeah.
I love Lemmy from Motorhead.
I like the part where he was in the book too. That's cool.
And this whole documentary, so Dave Grohl appears in this documentary. And the stories he has with Lemmy and the way they interact with each other. And then they start talking about Little Richard. So he puts these stories in his book. I'm like, oh yeah. So you have to watch the documentary. And that's when I fell in love with Dave Grohl and his energy. I didn't fall in love with the music, but I was like, damn, you're fun. He's got this life.
Have you seen Nirvana or the Foo Fighters in concert?
I actually haven't.
I've seen the Foo Fighters.
I don't think I have, but I've had a lot of years that were blank.
Well, yeah. I actually remember the show. The Foo Fighters opened up for somebody else. I remember seeing them, but I never saw Nirvana.
Sorry.
I'm here from Astoria in Oregon, but I lived in Portland for a long time, and I used to drink at this place called the Belmont Inn. And there's this guy who hated Nirvana. He's like, they opened up for me right here in this Belmont Inn. The guys are big. But so they were around the Pacific Northwest. But I when the Foo Fighters first came out, I was going to a lot of festivals. So I must have seen them like 5 or 6 times in 2 years. They were always a great show.
Yeah.
And like you said, so much energy. He's just like hopping around.
Oh no, I have seen the Foo Fighters. Okay, brain. So we were in 2004.
A moment of clarity.
2004, they opened up for Weezer in Champaign, Illinois, and we went for Weezer.
Okay.
And we walked away Foo Fighters fans because it was so rad.
They're just fun. They're fun. They're energy.
Yeah. Okay. No, I have. Blam.
Yeah.
They had when they played "There Goes My Hero" the last time I saw them. they had some guy dressed up like Freddie Mercury come out and dance
Oh, I
around.
love it.
It was hilarious.
I
It
love
was
that.
Does
That
that
was
song define this book?
Yeah,
now?
I was listening to it yesterday, thinking that exact thing. There goes my hero. Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, it's all the stories of his heroes, Paul
Yeah,
McCartney. And
yeah.
I think another one of my
Right,
favorite
yeah.
stories in the book is when they're in New Orleans
Mm-hmm.
and that big party starts forming at the restaurant where, you know, Paul
Oh.
McCartney's going to be there. And then all of a sudden his wife, Jordan, his wife calls him and says, "Hey, can AC/DC come to dinner?"
Mm-hmm.
And then he goes into the whole
Wow.
story of how he loves AC/DC. And then his friend who is, they do, you know, the parades in New Orleans when you go down the street and they're with the trombones and the music and
Mhm.
they're partying down the street. His friend does that and they brought it in and it's beautiful. What
So
a
cool.
beautiful,
Yeah.
fun story and
Yeah.
bringing everyone together and everyone's dancing. And
Yeah.
he was worried at first that, I don't know, we're bringing these people. I don't know if we're going to fit. We're going to disrupt the restaurant. And then it just, this whole glorious moment of something he probably never thought would happen happened.
Yeah.
It's cool. It's so cool. I mean, I loved the book. I mean,
He's a great storyteller.
He is a great storyteller, and he's just humble, and he's just cool. And
Yeah.
the interesting part, one of the interesting chapters that I found from the book when I first read it, so this is my second time through, so I knew it was coming, was that Nirvana really, they were not that close.
Yeah.
They were not a close band for those, 3-4 years?
Yeah.
They were not that close to people. And
I want to talk about that. I don't understand how they can't be close when Dave lived with Kurt in that apartment.
I love that chapter with that turtle.
Oh, the
and I want to
turtle.
keep kicking that fucking turtle in the head.
Oh, jeez.
I know.
Yeah.
I think, well, you got to look at Kurt and Dave
Yeah.
as people.
Mm-hmm.
Dave, outgoing, in your face. Like I said, the little ADHD boy who's bouncing off the
Yeah.
walls.
Yeah.
Kurt is very
He said he would
John,
just disappear into his room and he never even knew he was doing heroin.
Yeah.
I mean,
And
that's how,
so you're not going to be that close because Kurt's never going to open up and be that close.
Mhm.
And so he never, well, as a band, they gelled together, but I don't think as
I think it's
humans,
people. I got the
loved
feeling,
him.
they did not. No.
Yeah. And there's not a lot about Nirvana in that book.
No,
though.
there's not.
I think there might be legal issues with that.
Maybe so too.
That's why they don't.
Oh, that
allow
was that's one of the issues that I saw that people complained about. You know, this book got a lot of good press from critics and such, but what they did complain about is it doesn't go in depth into the Nirvana years. It doesn't go in depth into Kurt's suicide, or all those things where it's like, hey, if I don't have anything good to say, I won't say anything at all.
Right. Yeah.
Listen, a lot of great stories if you do that, and he just wouldn't go into it.
Yeah, well, and he says it too. He was like 23 to 25 years old, and now he's 55. And he's like that. I mean, if we look at your life from 23 to 25, there were things that were really impactful, and obviously being part of Nirvana was really impactful. But that's a really small snippet of a really long life. And he said that multiple times, and I just got the feeling that Kurt was kind. He said, Kurt was always just the kindest, but really closed.
He was a sensitive little soul.
Yeah, he was. And I think that's what killed him.
Yeah.
Is what Dave
it was too
alludes
much.
to. Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's a great theme in this book was they're talking about how they all felt like outcasts wherever they grew up. And as outcasts, they created music that the people that they didn't like the bullies and the jocks, loved.
Yeah.
And then they didn't know how to deal with that.
Right. Yeah.
That's what Kurt said he would wear dresses on stage because he knew there's going to be a bunch of macho assholes in this crowd.
Yeah, they love that.
To show them that it's okay to appreciate feminism and stuff,
Yeah. There's a whole chapter they wanted to kill him,
Yeah.
All the security guards were like, we're
all them good old boys wanted to beat his ass.
Yeah, they were trying to kill him. That was a funny chapter.
Yeah.
All of a sudden, Dave's like, yeah, Kurt and Chris got in the taxi. And they were gone and he was stuck there. And he's like, I may or may not have headed home with a beautiful young girl.
And there we go.
Right? We didn't look at the signs. They were there the whole time.
But
they really were.
But at 23, good for
I may or
him.
may
You know
not
what?
have a baby from another. Yeah.
He's got multiple
I'm getting the beer. I'll be
babies.
right back.
Dave Grohl, he gets around.
Oh.
It just keeps coming back to that. I don't know. I want to
Yeah.
just love this book and say all good things about it, but you can't
I mean,
write.
is this a family show? How much can I say?
I don't think we're family. No, we're not. We're not rated. We're unrated. So
We're unrated.
yeah.
It has been said. Oh gosh, what is the song that they sing?
Food
I
or
got another
Dude.
confession to
No,
make.
not that one. But people have been
I'm a
going
dead
at it with
baby
that.
daddy.
It's the one. All my life, I've been waiting for something.
Yeah.
It's about orally pleasuring a woman.
Oh.
And in an article, he's like, "Oh yeah, I love it."
Mm-hmm.
Dave Grohl.
I don't doubt that.
Yeah.
Dave Grohl.
But I'm
The
going to go listen to
master
that.
of oral
Yep.
pleasure.
I'm going to go listen to that again.
Yeah, listen to
Never
it.
comes, never comes. Yeah,
So it was there
needs to
all
nothing.
along. The truth was there all along.
Wow. I'm going through the whole lyrics.
Oh yeah, go to the
Yeah.
whole thing.
Oh yeah, the proof is all in the lyrics. That God, we
Yeah.
should have
Yeah.
seen it.
So it was there.
Yeah. It's like on the spectrum of things. Like,
Oh my God, these lyrics.
Yeah,
you should read them because I don't have them in front of me.
read the lyrics.
Yeah.
Yeah, read them. Read them.
Calm down. Don't you resist.
No,
This is a
read them.
delicate wrist. And if I give it a twist, something to hold when I lose my grip, will I find something in there to give me just what I need? Another reason to bleed.
Hmm.
Hey, don't let it go to waste. I love it, but I hate the taste.
Mm.
Weight keeping me down. Hey, don't let it go to waste. I love it, but I hate the taste.
Oh my gosh. I never saw
Yeah.
this. I am my virgin ears.
I am shocked.
Are you sure that's what they're talking about? I mean, he could be talking about vegetables.
Okay, well, so will I find a believer? Another one who believes? Another one to deceive
exactly.
over and over down on my knees?
Uh-huh.
It was in the lyrics the whole time.
Yeah.
God damn it, Dave.
And if you open,
Damn it, Dave.
and this is cliche for a lot of rock songs. If you open up wide, and if you let me inside,
Mm-hmm.
and that's a lot of
Yeah.
rock songs lyrics, even pop lyrics too.
Oh, sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
On and on. I got nothing to hide. On and on. I got nothing. Yeah.
So
Wow.
That's one of the ones I love too.
bourbon. I have a little old fashioned.
But done, and I'm on to the next one.
Done and
There we
done. I'm on
go.
He's been getting ahead of us all along. It's like a Scooby-Doo
That
episode.
was the title of his epilogue. Done, and I'm on to the next one.
Yep.
Oh, Dave, I hope someday you hear this and know that.
Hashtag Dave Grohl.
Yeah, hashtag Dave Grohl fans. They're
Fans.
huge.
I know.
They're huge.
Dave, I don't want to marry you, but I'll definitely party with you.
Exactly. I'll eat hot wings with you any day.
Yes.
And I
I'll
love
go
you.
to Pantera Strip Club with you if it's still open.
Yeah. Yeah. I actually had a secondary degree of separation with Grohl in 2000 something, 15, 16. I was reporting on a bunch of short films for Sundance, and Grohl was supposed to come because he had directed a short film. And he didn't make it because he got pulled somewhere else. But we got to actually talk to the actors who worked with him for the short film. And there were a bunch of us reporters, like 6 of us sitting in a room, and he had sent us a really personal video saying, "I'm sorry, I can't make it." Da, 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 da. We were hoping to actually chat with him.
Right.
But we got to talk to the actors and the director, and they were like, the guy is just rad. The guy is just so rad. I mean, they're like, he just wants to do really cool things. And as for the actors, they were all like, he pulled them from nowhere. They were all from marginalized communities. He was doing really cool things. And I was disappointed that night, but at the same time, it was like,
well, he addressed it. He didn't have someone else address it.
Right.
For
He
him.
sent us a really cool.
He's a guy.
He was like, I can't make it. And he was supposed to talk to his director.
Yeah.
That was my interaction, and I thought that was really, really, really cool because the actors came to Sundance. Obviously, they come and chat with them. So that was really, really cool, and I think that's kind of when my fandom kind of grew a lot for Dave as a person.
Yeah, as a person, he's done some of the stories. Like I said, he's done a lot of work on film. He did he was just a guest on the Lemmy documentary, but he did another documentary called Sound City, and he talks about.
Oh yeah, that was really good.
Did you see that documentary?
Documentary.
Fantastic.
Awesome. Yeah, and all the different
the other
artists.
documentary, the Pick of Destiny.
We can't forget that.
Yeah,
I have never seen that.
Like Satan in that. God, the signs were always
Dude,
there.
they were there, Sean, the whole time.
Yeah, I mean, it's
we
like
just refused to see it.
these aren't signs.
Ah,
There-
I just think he's a good guy.
He's just fun, but he likes to have fun.
Yeah, I mean,
like a party.
the only reason we're
Dave
talking
likes
about
to
this,
party.
the only reason we're talking about this is because he did not have a chapter on cheating.
He didn't, but like I said, maybe it was because his wife's like, "Don't you
Yeah,
dare,"
yeah,
because you know this isn't his first cheating rodeo.
right.
So would you want
Period.
that in there?
Yeah,
Terry?
if he had
No.
a chapter on cheating,
I don't know.
oh,
First off,
oh yeah, I don't.
married a rock star. Shit, I
The
don't.
tone would be all off at that one
Mhm.
chapter.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I just,
Yeah,
I don't
The
know.
book is so upbeat. You how are you going to do a chapter on cheating in an upbeat way?
You're like, I mean, and people would be pissed. Like people are now,
yeah. People are
Yeah.
pissed.
and they know
He
it.
was
He
like
wants to sell the book.
He was trending. What did you say, Sean? Like he was like number
number
one,
one.
number one
He's number
trending.
one
Yeah.
trending on Twitter for 2 days.
Yeah, because he
which is
was
hard
like
to do.
Yeah.
rock and rolls.
Yeah,
Nice
especially
guy.
when people are eating cats and dogs and
Yeah.
geese. You know, I
Yeah.
mean,
That trends too.
when you can be
He knocked the cats off.
He
the
knocked
shelf.
the-
Yeah.
people eating cats and dogs off the shelf. I mean,
But
you
I
can
think
do that.
that he
Now
tried
that
to
is
put
Dave
the-
Grohl.
Yeah,
I think he put the news out. What did he do it right before the
It
debate?
was like the day before the debate, or like hours
yeah.
before
People
the
were
debate.
talking about he did it purposely.
Oh yeah, to be
Oh, yeah.
What does he-
overshadowed.
what the? That could be smooth. Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah,
never know.
I don't know. There's a couple other stories that I
Yeah.
love.
Yeah,
in
because
the
he's a
book.
great storyteller.
Like I said, he is
Yeah,
a
he is a
natural
storyteller.
born storyteller,
Yeah,
and he engages you. I mean, you just want to read more. Like, tell me more. Dave.
yeah, exactly.
I want to know.
Yeah.
So he engages you. It's fun. High school dropout.
Right.
He didn't go to school for
Yeah.
writing and English.
Right.
And he did a great job. Better than JD Vance, who went to Yale.
I know.
I'll say that.
Yeah,
But the
Yeah.
story about
I'd vote for Grohl.
I'd vote for Grohl. I mean, what
All politicians cheat. That's
exactly?
that's part of the job. That's part of the like.
Yeah, that's in the
Some
job
choose to do it.
description.
In the White House, and some choose to do it in other places.
Some
Exactly.
just
Yeah,
do
it
it
doesn't
on
matter.
the stage and
Yeah.
on the road.
Right.
So the story when he goes to Australia and
Yeah.
he meets the psychic. And
Oh yeah.
he's like, "Oh yeah, you see aliens or whatever," and he talks about the time he saw the UFO and that story and the story about when he lived in the haunted house.
The
Yeah.
haunted
Oh, that
house.
was cool.
Oh, I loved it.
He's no
Yeah.
longer trending, by the way. I just looked.
He's
Oh.
no longer trending.
Yeah, yeah.
People are done with it.
Well, it's football day, and so that's all.
Yeah.
Oh,
Well,
dear.
and he didn't. He's not awful. I mean, he's not awful. He's not. He's
He's awful
all
to his
legal.
wife.
Yeah, but it wasn't
He's
But
a good
illegal.
guy. and
Yeah.
Good guys make mistakes too.
Sure.
but
You know,
like I said,
mean,
ugly ass everyday dudes are making these
Right,
mistakes.
right.
Guys, Dave
Yeah.
Grohl.
Dory, what you picked a specific beer on?
I did.
for bourbon beer and books. What'd you go with here?
I chose one of our local brewers
Yeah.
here, Roosters.
no longer a sponsor.
No. Oh,
No,
Are
no,
we hiding this?
no. You're
Okay.
good. No, you're
I'm
good.
just kidding.
Cosmic
They're wonderful.
Autumn-
The Roosters are the best.
They are Cosmic Autumn Rebellion, but it's the pumpkin
seasonal.
chocolate chip. It's a seasonal beer. The pumpkin chocolate chip cookie ale because Dave Grohl's a cheater, pumpkin eater,
Wow.
pumpkin eater,
Pumpkin,
Well, we
oh,
learned
pumpkin
that.
eater.
cheater, and a pumpkin eater. That's the beer I got for Dave
Oh,
Grohl.
I went. I looked in my own fridge at home to see if something would match the theme of current events, and another local, but Utah local, not Ogden local. Went with a hazy nosh, a hazy.
Mhm.
Shit's getting a little hazy now.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not as clear and clean as it was
No,
about a week ago.
no.
So
I
I
had
don't
the
know.
Mirage beer, but I have Bullett's Old Fashioned. They pre-make old fashions, and I think it's a little sweet for me.
Yeah, is that
but
legal,
yes.
Sean?
What's that?
Is that
Not in
legal to
Utah.
pre-make an old fashioned? You know?
Not here.
Not here in
Not
Oregon.
in
It is.
Utah.
Yeah, but I'm talking about like as far as delivering a quality product.
Oh, yeah.
You know,
Are you
Oh.
saying it's legal or is it right?
is it
no,
right? Yeah, is it
Right.
right?
it's too sweet. But because all this Dave Grohl shit, that's got me all bitter, so I put a lot of bitters. This is a Minute
Mhm.
Yeah.
citrus hops bitter, It's pretty good. I put it in there.
I think an old fashioned would be a good drink for tonight.
It is.
Yeah.
Old fashioned, but
Yeah.
bitter.
Yeah, I think
It's
Sean,
better.
we're riding the same
Yeah.
wavelength here because the whiskey I chose from the assortment over here that Brandon has provided
of
us.
course.
I chose a Jack Daniel's Tennessee Honey because I needed something sweet to swallow this bitter pill that Dave Grohl just delivered to us.
Hey, I haven't tried that. Is that pretty good? That Tennessee?
It's sweet.
Yeah.
It's sweet.
Yeah.
I can only have so much of it, but
Okay.
you gotta have something sweet with this.
I see what you're doing with the Zoom. All right. If you want to
Are
take
you-
photos and take them home with me, you can.
Yeah, I've got you. Yeah.
Take a picture. It lasts longer.
Yeah.
What are you drinking?
I'm drinking
Yeah,
something
well, I know
from
what you're
Brand's fridge. Utah's only happy hour lager from Utah. It's good. It's a really good
And
lager.
we all know Dave Grohl enjoys a nice happy hour.
Yeah, I was just thinking, Utah's only. No, I was gonna go something. I'm no good at this. I'm no good at preparing for things early. I'm just.
I text you guys all the
I
time.
prepared it for you. I made that connection.
You
for
did, yeah.
And you got the
Dave
shirt
loves
on.
the-
I always have the
Yes,
shirt
the
on.
Bourbon
Always
Beer
wear the
book.
shirt. That's what
I
that's,
need a shirt.
yeah.
I
We need to-
stress about this connect. I stress about our decision for beer all the time. I went through 3 or 4 different beers. I told you about the Van Sessions one. Then I'm like, all right, I'm gonna get to
Nice.
3
Wait, is that a real beer? It's called Van
Yeah.
Sessions?
Y'all
Yeah,
need a beer.
What?
on the
Because that's our podcast.
Yeah.
yeah.
Van
I'll have
Sessions
to.
is our
I'll bring
podcast.
some next time I come to. Next time I come to.
You need to chat with them
Yeah.
about
Yeah.
dual partnership.
Right now
Yeah.
we have a partner.
Right,
we
right.
partner with Utah,
Right, which is great.
which is great, and they're local, but
I'm drinking a
Holy
Utah
crap.
beer. This is really good.
literally the same name. Wild. Okay.
Well, when he said Van Sessions, I thought you have a beer.
I know.
I know.
You're kind of a big deal.
and I would like,
Brandon.
duh, but I would.
We don't.
Don't cheat on your wife.
Yeah.
Now that you're a big deal, all right, dude?
Yeah. I'm not to that
Keep it
level
in
yet.
check.
And then every
All
other
right,
podcast is going to be really awkward.
You know what? So the Van Sessions is from Great Notion Brewing, and that's in Portland. It's right by where I used to live on Alberta Street. It was the old mash tun, but anyway, but their Great Notion is named after Ken Kesey, sometimes a Great Notion. So they're literary, so we should reach out.
That's cool. You should reach out.
Fresh-
Well,
it's called. So it's
if
called
you want
the
me to reach
Van-
out, I reach out because, as I told Dory, people answer my emails these days.
Yeah, he also is a big deal.
This
You
man
better
is
slow
dope.
your roll there. Don't pull a Dave Grohl because you're a big deal.
Trust me, I said, Mary's coming at
I know.
6:15. Guess who's going to wrap up at 6:14 and get my butt out?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, that's early. That's early, kid.
Yeah.
I know.
Yeah. So this it's a Great Notion fresh hop van beer hazy IPA, and the logo on the can is a purple van with a wizard flying a unicorn shooting rainbows out its mouth. And so
Wow.
Nice.
yeah,
Wow.
You
And
gotta
I'll
link
tell you
up.
what, it was a really
Dude,
good.
you gotta link up somehow. That's just too
Okay,
cool.
you're in this building full of artists. Someone needs to create this, like some type of a beer logo for you.
that's actually Todd does our stuff.
Oh,
He does a really good
Todd.
job.
Todd's really
He
I
could
didn't
do
know.
the logo
Todd, get
for us.
on it.
We just need to get Utah or whoever
Yeah.
to brew us a beer specifically for us. So
Okay.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Sweet.
We're on a mission.
on a mission. Okay, continue.
Continue.
Well, what I want to talk about with Dave Grohl's book is it's written. This guy is like you said, a high school dropout, and I think it was really so important for him to show that he is smart and he could do this
Yeah.
because when he was doing the White House dinner, I think he was introducing a band. What
The
was
Who.
it?
It was The Who.
Yeah. And then somebody from the White House wrote him a speech for him to
Oh
say,
yeah.
but they wrote it in what they
Dave
assumed
Grohl would say.
Right.
Yeah.
They dumbed it
that is
down.
fiction.
Yeah.
And he's like, I don't say dude all the time. I don't want to. This is dumb. This is like a dumb person. I want to do my own. And so
Yeah.
he
Yeah.
rewrote it on the spot.
They wrote "dude" in the
Yeah,
For
they
his
wrote his whole
speech.
speech.
man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so he just didn't want to. He doesn't want to be seen as dumb. He didn't.
Oh, he's brilliant.
Didn't work for him, but you know what? He still, because his dad was a speechwriter. His
Yeah.
mom is
Yeah.
a teacher. So I think it was really important for him to write this book. That's what
Yeah.
that's what Kelly, my wife, was asked you. Like, you think somebody wrote this for him?
No,
Like,
I think he wrote it.
Yeah. Because there were,
I was going to ask that.
No, there were so many things that you're like, this is him, because as writers, like, he does these little quips or these little like things like, well, no, yeah, I don't know, little things in speech that a ghostwriter would have smoothed out, and his voice was like all there. It was he wrote this book.
I noticed that too.
There were things as writers who'd be like,
the actual writing seems like it's somebody who thinks, well, a writer would use this word. I mean, there's a little bit of the writing is a little bit amateurish,
right?
But the storytelling is right on.
Right.
Exactly. And that's what I was saying. It was like, as a writer, like, if we critique sentences on this, we could, they're on the sentence level, it's fine. It's great. It's great.
Yeah.
But at the same time, you're like, well, I wouldn't do that. I mean, I wouldn't, because, there's certain things like repeated words, little silly things. But no, it's him. And that makes it cool.
And I think people who are reading this book, they're not there for the literary analysis.
Well, no,
they're there for the story.
If you're reading a book about a rock star, shouldn't it sound like it's coming from the rock star?
Right.
It's not going to sound like
it's authentic.
It is. It was authentic. Like, there were funny little quips all the way through that you're like, yeah, he's writing this book. Any editor would have killed it if it wasn't Dave Grohl.
Right.
And I listened to it, and Dave Grohl is actually reading it for the audiobook. I also read through it because I love how he uses, and some of the critics did not like this, but sometimes he'll just like do a font. He'll just change fonts. You can see right here, it looks like written or something, and for emphasis, and it's kind of whatever. But I think it's fun,
Yeah.
His whole thing is like, he excels at things because he was never taught how to do it, and he can hit it from any angle his own way. And I think he did, and that was his whole theory on music. And he brought it to memoir writing, and I think he did still such a great job because, no one showed him how to do it. He hit it from every angles. He's putting photos in, he's changing fonts, he's whatever he wants to do.
Yeah.
And it worked.
So, Sean, I will just address your mini library there for a moment, because it looks good, for us. The only thing is, we interviewed Jack Carr. Case interviewed Jack Carr the other day, and he was swallowed by his library. It was insane.
Yes,
of books.
Insane.
It was insane. It was the coolest thing.
Well, he's a.
I have another bookcase right there, another one in that corner, another one in that corner over there. I just want to show you my gross room.
You have Sudoku piles all over your house. He doesn't want to brag. I do. Not Sudoku.
Piles like that everywhere. This is Fourth Wing. Or you guys remember that?
Oh, we do.
Shikoska. I haven't read that yet, but I was reading Lydia Yuknevich's like her what's the thing that you have to write to get your PhD? It was about war, and it mentioned that. Mythology always, so whatever. That's cool. Oh, another thing I read, which I really liked, was the Keanu Reeves comic book, Berserker.
Huh?
What? He has a comic.
Have you seen his band?
They were just here last week or the week before. Yeah.
No.
Yeah. They were just here.
While we're bringing it up, he's next.
Don't. Not Keanu.
Oh. Keanu, what did you do?
I know a story about Keanu, but I'm not going to say it here.
No.
I can't.
I love Keanu.
I know. That's why I'm not going to.
Come on, man. We got to keep
He's not bad.
Oh,
okay.
It's not a bad story, but I'm like, shit.
Like, he doesn't even touch people when he gets photos.
Right.
Yeah,
he's like, I ain't doing that. He sees what's happening. He's like, I ain't doing it anyway.
Yeah. Okay. Anything else on this book, though, Sean, before we talk about the next one or anything? Because we're 45 minutes into this here, Puck. Already 45 minutes into talking about Dave Grohl's.
In case has a deadline.
Yeah, I want to know if you guys would actually recommend the book for people to read.
Yes.
That was a fast and
yes,
quick.
I loved it. I read it.
Well, now that you know that he's a cheater.
Yeah, still.
Yeah, okay, I mean,
I'm like,
because there's so many cool things.
there are so many. If you love music and you love
History
the
too.
history and these stories of like
Yeah.
just this joy of music and meeting your heroes, and then not your musical heroes, but it's fun.
It's fun. It's fun, and you get to hear about and seeing that side of Kurt Cobain and stuff.
Yeah.
Is really, really interesting, and to look at life as in perspective. That's 3 years of a 55-year-old man's life, and people always say he's, you're the dude from. People still say
he's a dude from Nirvana.
Dude from Nirvana.
It was only 3 years.
3 years, 3, 4, maybe 4. I think it's 3.
I was in
like-
the 8th grade
Because Bleach, the first album, was not Grohl. He only did.
Yeah, he replaced.
He only did the second 2 albums. With him.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, and they blew up huge, way too fast, and that's probably what happened. They're all over the world. But
Yeah,
so
the way he
I was
describes
reading it. My daughter Jackie really wants to get into filmmaking now, and I
was awesome. I can't wait to see the show.
Yeah, and I'm like, you know what? I want her to read this because his amazement and just love of music is so inspirational.
Yeah.
Reading this, he learned how to play drums. He set up his pillows in his room and just with the sticks would hit the pillows because they didn't have enough money for a drum set. But and his mom would take him to every Sunday, go to his place and one Sunday she's like, it's my birthday. And if you would just get up there when they call for somebody to play with us, and so I could see you on stage, that would be my birthday present. And I'm like, dude, that just
he's like 7, 15.
Yeah, and once again, he's scared, and he's like, I'm just doing.
Well, he gets up there in his first drum lesson because he's been playing on pillows.
Yeah,
he's holding his sticks backwards. He's like, I always thought that the impact would be better, and the guy's like, you're holding your sticks backwards. And he's like, and that's what made it
the way that he
yeah.
lawns to save up enough money to get a drum lesson from the resident drum guy. Dude, this guy is like, holy shit, this guy is everything that you want. You see all of those biography movies about, Elton John and Freddie Mercury. I mean, this guy, he lived the life. Like a poor guy with a single mom who was a public school teacher. I mean, come on. It's a great story until he fucks around.
No, I think it's a great story.
But that's not in the book.
That's not in the book. And the truth is, it's like, publish the book, then fuck around.
I mean, then he's been doing it the whole time.
No, I know, but it's like,
a lot of people are telling me that, you know what, the reason why he wrote this book is because he knew he was doing this, and he wanted, his wife to not know.
It was like guilt, kind of like guilt. It was guilt, and after all these years of still being in the music industry, he's like a titan in the music industry. He still has that wide-eyed wonder of like, I just met so-and-so, and this is amazing. I mean, he's
the last one was Joan Jett.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. And I love Joan Jett and that whole story with Joan Jett and the Barbie doll.
Yeah.
And she's coming over and she's spending the night in her little pajamas.
Yeah.
Love
it's
that
so
story.
Cool. And his story about his daughters playing music and singing and their own talent. You can see how much he loves. Oh my God.
Yeah.
His life is his daughters.
Yes.
I mean, obviously there's layers when you cheat with these
humans. There's layers to humans.
There's layers to humans. Yeah, there's layers of humans.
Yeah.
Both of his older daughters deleted their social media pages like a week before getting out.
People are monsters online,
man.
They're horrible.
Yeah, they are.
And they don't care if these are young girls. They're
they're
go at it.
Mean. Yeah.
Case and I addressed that a little bit about a week ago, where we were talking about.
Don't tell them about our conversation.
That's why we talk, Case, to make good podcast.
There we go. Yeah, he's saving up stuff.
I remember everything, but it was like, it's hard because you want to and we were talking about, okay, now do we judge him? How hard do we judge him? What about his family? What about his kids and all this? And it's like, it's the whole thing sucks. And it's bad because you don't want it to hurt the family and the kids. And so this is a podcast about the book,
right?
And the book that he knew so that's why he knew we were going to come out with this.
He did.
He
that.
did.
He called me the other day. He's
Yeah,
like,
so-
"Be gentle,
Yeah,
Dory."
and so he's like,
Yeah.
let me get ahead of this, you
Yeah.
know, before Bourbon Beer and Books
Yeah.
Yeah.
talked
I
about
said,
it.
"Dave,
Yeah,
I'm going to do what
yeah,
I have
yeah.
to do."
right.
Yeah.
Yeah. So anyway, so he beat us to it.
He
Well,
He
did.
did. He
Yeah.
did.
He's like, Dory's going to ruin me. Dave, calm down. Okay.
Yeah.
Calm down. We partied with Pantera. Calm down.
Yeah.
Yes. You don't know Dory. You
He
know?
You
only
don't
wields
know.
her sword for worse people.
I do. Yeah, if you committed a crime, like a heinous crime.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, it's a good book. It's a great book.
Yeah.
It's fun. It's
fun.
enjoyable, and it is him. It's his voice. He's there.
Yeah,
He's-
and
he's real.
there's no doubt about it. I mean, he is part of our history. I mean, his
Yeah.
band
Yeah.
kind of changed the course of music history in the 90s. And
Mm-hmm.
it was a really crazy time to be alive. So to
Yeah.
me, I still I remember all those times. You know, I was talking to
Mhm.
my daughter about it, and it's like, how would you describe the 80s and the 90s to people today? Because we really haven't had a generational shift after 2000. You know how the 70s
Yeah.
was disco and the 60s was hippie, 70s disco, 80s were coke fueled whatever, 90s, you know. But we haven't really changed since 2000. So trying to explain that is tough.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Sean, you
Yeah.
got any suggestions for the next book? You're going to put a pull out on our group, maybe, perhaps. By the way, this
Dave
is a
should have
plug.
pulled out.
He should.
Wow,
Woo!
it was a pull
That was a hot
out,
take right there.
and
Dave, if you hear this,
We've been doing a lot of
Name.
stuff that's in pop culture, you know, and I like that. We did the
Mhm.
whole JD Vance thing. We did this one, and it just kind of happened. We might continue to do that. I'm not sure, but also I love trying to figure out the basics. I put Ulysses on the last list that everybody voted for, and I'm really glad that Dave Grohl's book won, because really cool how it worked out. Good book, but I still want to know.
sorry, Dave's family.
I know.
Yes, sorry, buddies. But I still want to understand some classics too. I think we should throw a classic in every once in a while.
Agreed.
But I'm really open for anything.
I
My
like the
brother
poll.
told me he wanted to do Siddhartha by Herman Hesse.
That's a good book. It's been years. I
I've
read
never
that in
read
high
it
school.
before, but
So if you're not a part of the group, find us on Facebook, Bourbon Beer and Books group on Facebook, and we'll put a list out there on which, and then if we are and Sean was being considerate because he didn't know Case, if we go live with these, you know, and we say things,
Right.
you know, who's at risk? If we just record, I can edit.
yeah, not
this
me.
is-
I can say any fucking thing I want, you know, because
Yep, Sean's gonna, you know, Dory might lose her job.
I can say
That's-
anything unless it's a HIPAA violation.
Oh, shit.
Well,
Like,
so
what
if
is the guy
Dave
that came in the
goes
office
to
the other day?
hospital,
I can say anything. I can say, and obviously, we found out unless Mary really likes the book.
Oh my god, we know there's a line there somewhere.
Yeah.
Case. Oh my god.
I don't want to piss Mary off either, man.
We're not discussing
No,
anything
no.
Mary like.
No more Rebecca Yaros.
Those are the only rules.
No, that's the truth.
Oh, that's
No,
funny.
on this podcast, I can say mostly anything I want to.
Okay, well, we'll make that decision too, and we'll put that out there on the group as
Yeah.
well. So we'll vote on the book, and then we'll let you know.
Brandon, I would really love to do it live.
Yeah,
And
because I would like some feedback with listeners.
questions and stuff.
Yeah.
I love doing that too. You know.
Okay,
Yeah.
I agree. So let's do a one word description of the book. I think we did something similar. We did 5 before, but I do a one Case. You're pretty good at this. What's your one word description of Dave Grohl's Storyteller memoir?
Oh, this one's hard. I usually am pretty good at this because I usually say things that don't make any sense. But with this one, I would just say it was I was gonna say authentic till he cheated on his wife. Now I would just say fun. It was fun.
Yeah,
It
you
was
did.
fun.
You used that word a lot tonight, so I think
Fun.
good.
Fun's a good one.
fun's
Yeah.
Wait,
Yeah,
I
we
want to
got-
repeat back to you what you just said. I want to say this book was authentic until he cheated on his wife. Now I'll just say it was fun. All right, I just want to make sure that's what you're saying.
Well, I mean, it's when he wrote it, it was definitely still authentic, right?
We
Yeah.
still thought he was like the good
Was it?
guy, family man. That's how he wrote it.
But it's still a story. It's
It's an authentic story of
It is
anything
It is.
but
It is
being faithful
authentically
to his wife.
fun, except for his wife.
yes,
Is that 7?
and his kids. Yeah,
And
I mean he still loves his kids, but
yeah, and I hope he hears this. And Dave, if you do, we love you.
Dave, we all mess up.
Yeah.
Yeah, we all mess up, dude.
You only get one shot at this.
Yeah.
Mhm.
You got one word?
Joy,
Joy.
Yeah, joy.
joy.
Sean, you got one word?
Disappointed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Very disappointed.
I'm really just honing in on the partying with Pantera, you know,
Yeah.
and Lemmy.
And Lemon.
All right. Well, Case has the date, so we're going to let him run. So we'll wrap it up here. Thanks for joining us on Bourbon, Beer, and Books. You can find us on Facebook, Bourbon, Beer, and Books, and then we put these out on YouTube as well, and on all the podcast airwaves under Bourbon, Beer, and Books. So you're hearing this, so obviously you found us. So thank you. Sean puts
Find us again.
Yeah, find us more,
Yes.
like on YouTube or something.
And share us.
I think we're posting
Yeah.
over the Banyan Collective right now, but share us.
Like,
right?
share, comment.
Mhm. Thank you. Sean, any parting words?
Xylophone.
Xylophone. Xylophone. All right, that is it. We'll catch you next month on Bourbon, Beer, and Books. Thanks, everyone. Cheers.
Cheers.